welcome back to the Upstart Startup Zone. I'm at Digital DNA. My name is Alistair Cameron from Starticus, and I'm joined by Eoin from HeadCoach. Eoin, nice and simple question to start things off. What's HeadCoach?
HeadCoach, we build emotional intelligence skills for athletes and coaches. So it's all about the academy level player in sports and the psychological distress that they experience just due to the high level of failure that goes on within the sport environments. So for example, in football, 0.5% of under-9s would actually play for a first team someday. So that just creates this psychological distressing environment for them, and there's a lot of different pressures going on, from whether it's from the parents or from the club or from their coaches, and also the expectations they set of themselves. And so it's just about giving them the tools to regulate and manage their own emotions so that they can use those effectively on match day to maximise their performance and their well-being.
Wow, so in terms of obviously where you're going with this, you're not necessarily selling to the 0.05%. It's the
Yes.
It's the 99 point something percent.
It's 99.5%, so we're trying to help there to give them the skills. There's a lot of these players, whenever they leave the academy system as well, if they don't make it pro, they don't necessarily have the skills to go out and get another job as well. They're struggling with that side of things, and so it's about giving them the emotional intelligence skills to succeed in the real world as well as in sports.
And I'm guessing you're selling this to clubs?
Yeah, so our original model we were thinking of was going to be B2B, and we would sell that directly to the clubs for them to use with their athletes. We've had some good feedback from the market so far in terms of that model, but we've also been advised, that there's other sports like running and stuff, for example, where it's just the individual athlete. So we are expanding our product offering now to include the likes of the runners and the more individual boxers and stuff who are just out there doing the sports by themselves.
And
so
what type of feedback did you get? Obviously, how has that changed the B2B model, maybe?
So our original pricing was kind of excluding small clubs as well, because we were doing the typical SaaS model where it's up to 25 users, you pay £5 per user, and then up to 100 users, it's a smaller price per user, etc. But that excluded quite a lot of the smaller clubs there, so we've reworked our pricing then to include different packages so that smaller clubs can still avail of our app with obviously limited features and limited data, but still get the benefit of it then as well at the same time, and as well then also including the individual sports people as well in that there, so that they can avail of the service too.
Excellent. And where are you looking to sell this? Is this a UK thing, or could you see this in the States?
So we've had quite a lot of traction in the United States already so far. We're running 3 different beta trials right now. We've got one in Canada, one in Seattle, and one in North Carolina at the minute. We've got a few good leads as well in the UK in terms of some Premier League academies and some Championship academies there. So we're looking across both the UK and the US market, as well as Ireland, obviously too.
This is really exciting. So obviously, I'm guessing you've got quite a few connections within the industry, or one of the team has.
Yeah, so my 2 co-founders have been working in the football industry now for over 10 years each. My friend Jonathan is actually one of my friends from school. He's been a football coach in the MLS and the Premier League now for 10 years. And our third guy then is a chartered psychologist, and he's worked in the sports industry now for 10 years, working for the likes of Arsenal and England Rugby and Charlton Women's as well.
Amazing.
So those guys have quite a lot of connections then within the sports industry, but we're also finding that the more people we talk to, the more people they're introducing us to as well, because everybody's telling us this is something that they absolutely need within their organisations, and so they're helping us to expand and connecting us with more and more people.
And in terms of any competitors in the space, how are you differentiating yourself, obviously, in terms of your unique selling point?
That's actually an interesting question, because when we started this, we didn't think there was actually anything out there doing this, but because we started this was a tool for my friend Jonathan to help him do his job.
Yeah.
But then we realised this is a bigger issue across sports, and so we decided to expand this and become a commercialised business. But then we realised there is actually quite a few competitors out there doing stuff like this. So for example, in the rugby industry, you've got an app called Tackle Your Feelings, and that's promoted quite heavily with the Irish Rugby Players Association. But only the professional players have access to that resource, so the underage academy players don't have access to that there. So so that's a gap in the market then for us there. There's also quite a few other organisations that have propped up as well, but a lot of them have been set up by sports psychologists, so they're not necessarily business people there, so they're not exactly heavily promoted apps on that side of things. But how we differentiate ourselves in terms of our product offering is through the emotional intelligence skills. A lot of our competitors offer solutions to understand and regulate your emotions, but they don't offer that emotional intelligence skill building to give them those skills for later life as well.
Yeah, brilliant, brilliant. And what comes next for you guys then? Obviously alongside the trials that you're doing, what's your pathway?
So the next thing for us is to start testing this out in sales and see if people are actually going to purchase this for us.
Yeah.
But we've got a roadmap of features there as well we want to introduce into the app, and so we're trying to develop a couple of new features now for the app. But in terms of the longer term, we're looking to do a pre-seed investment round here, and that will help us hire the dev team, so we can bring this in-house. But one of the exciting things we want to do as well is to build an AI psychologist for like a level 1 intervention support for people to get that level of support there. And then again, a future state would be a marketplace to connect athletes with actual real life psychologists as well for like a level 2 intervention support.
What I'm loving about what you're talking about, and also some of the other founders that we've had a chat with, is that the vision is go big. It's not a small vision that people have, and obviously that's quite exciting. I think we've got used to in Northern Ireland maybe thinking of like we'll sell to the UK or we'll sell to the Irish market, but you've got grand global ambitions for this, I guess.
Yeah, grand global ambitions right from the off. There's also a cultural thing where potentially in the US they're more open to these kind of solutions. This is just the way that is, that culture. So we're finding it somewhat easier in America right now to get that sort of traction. Don't get me wrong, the UK has definitely got that traction as well, but definitely in the US we're seeing a much more openness towards our solution.
Rock and roll. I love the sound of it. I think it sounds spot on, to be honest.
Thank you.
Something that's much needed. So look forward to hearing more about your journey over the next 12 months or so. For the time being, that's the Startup Chats at Digital DNA. We'll be back soon with another interview, but for the time being, Eoin from HeadCoach. Go and check them out.
Cheers guys, thank you.